What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of Let Us Pray. I'm Coach Tate, health minister and health coach, and in this week's episode, we're going to continue with the wellness scripture, Proverbs chapter 23, verses 1 through 2, to help you to consider carefully the food that is put before you when you eat. So last week, we talked about how to read a food label, and we're going to continue that this week with how to break down the ingredient list of that food label. I'm going to introduce you to something called the Scary 7, which are the 7 ingredients that we need to avoid in packaged foods. And I'm going to explain why we need to avoid them. So let's go into the classroom and learn about how to break down the ingredient list of packaged foods, as well as some of our favorite fast food items. Welcome into the Holy and Healthy Classroom. So as we've talked about for the last couple of weeks, our wellness scripture is Proverbs chapter 23, verses 1 through 2. And that says, when you sit down to eat with a ruler, consider carefully what is before you, and put a knife to your throat if you are a man given an appetite. So we're going to continue to focus on verse 1, teaching you how to consider carefully the food that is before you when you eat. It's very, very important that we pay attention to the food that we eat. We can no longer treat our stomachs like a trash can and continue to put garbage in it. You can't expect to look and feel like $1,000,000 if we're always eating from the dollar menu. So it's up to us to know what it is that we're putting into our bodies. And one of the easiest ways to improve our health when it comes to packaged foods is to stop eating foods that have mascots or commercials. When you look at commercials, look at the food that's being pushed or advertised to you. Rarely do you see a commercial about kale or spinach or salad. It's always something sugary, fattening, or something that doesn't have real ingredients. And then they use a mascot to help push that food. So let's talk about the Scary 7, which are the 7 ingredients that we need to avoid in packaged foods. The first one is high fructose corn syrup. If you pick up an item, a box or a package, and on the ingredient list it says high fructose corn syrup, go ahead and put it back. Remember last week when we talked about how to navigate through the grocery store, we want to stay on the perimeter, but we want to get the foods that don't have labels, the Genesis 129 foods, the fruits and vegetables. But once we get into those aisles, everything has a label. So it's very, very important to read the labels and understand the ingredients on that label. So if you see something with high fructose corn syrup, go ahead and put it back. And why is that? Here are some of the side effects of high fructose corn syrup: obesity, insulin resistance, increased belly fat, heart disease, tooth decay, liver failure, cancer, and it's mostly made from genetically modified corn. So we want to stay away from high fructose corn syrup and other artificial, non-natural sweeteners. And we'll talk about that a little later. Number 2 of the Scary 7 is trans fat. Now pay attention to how many items you can see in the grocery store with this stamp on the front of it. You may see potato chips, different types of cakes and pies with this 0 grams of trans fat stamp on the front. But it's very, very important to read the back or read the ingredients. And I'm going to tell you why. Trans fat is labeled as shortening, partially hydrogenated or hydrogenated oils, and also margarine. Side effects of trans fat are heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. Trans fats do not melt at room temperature. They raise your bad cholesterol, which is your LDL, and they lower your good cholesterol, which is your HDL. When you get your blood work done, it's very, very important to know your numbers. Know your blood pressure. Know your total cholesterol, your LDL, your HDL, your triglycerides, your glucose numbers. Don't just focus so much on the number on the scale. We want you to be healthy. And those numbers will let you know if you're healthy or not. It doesn't matter what size you wear. You can be a size 2 and be unhealthy. But we'll talk about that at a later date and time. Also, if a product has less than a half a gram of trans fat, that product can claim it as having 0. So you can see that 0 grams of trans fat stamp on the front of the package. But if you read the ingredients and you see partially hydrogenated or hydrogenated oils or margarine or shortening, it has trans fats. So please make sure that we read the ingredients. The next one, artificial flavors. That's number 3, artificial flavors. And that pretty much means chemicals. We have far too many people counting calories and not enough people counting chemicals. Your body can burn calories, but it cannot burn chemicals. So it's just a blanket term referring to over 100 possible chemical additives, and side effects includes allergic and behavioral reactions. Now, pay attention to these side effects because I'm going to show you some of the things that artificial flavors are in, and it makes no sense why they're there. But side effects include allergic and behavioral reactions. The next one is monosodium glutamate, or MSG. So MSG is a flavor enhancer commonly added to Chinese food, canned vegetables, soups, and processed meats. It stimulates your taste buds and causes you to eat more. This is why sometimes you can eat some Chinese food and you're hungry 5 minutes later. Your taste buds are jumping. Now listen to the side effects, possible side effects of MSG. Chest pain, heart palpitations, headaches, flushing, sweating, facial pressure, tightness, nausea, weakness, numbness, burning, tingling in the face and neck. So we can eat certain foods and then you go to your medicine cabinet and take an over-the-counter drug to combat those side effects when the side effects are actually caused by an ingredient or by a certain dish from a certain place. So this is why it's very important to get to the root cause of why you're feeling the way that you're feeling. If we cut out some of these fake ingredients, we can actually stop taking a lot of the medication over the counter, non-prescribed, that we fill our medicine cabinets with. So this is why it's very, very important to be educated on nutrition and on ingredients. In the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 6, it says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." So we don't want anyone to be ignorant when it comes to this subject on how to take care of the temple that God has blessed you with. Now, this is a very popular seasoning, right? And this is not to put the seasoning down, but this is just to educate you and motivate you to read the labels. So this is accent. And years ago, you could see commercials trying to tell you to wake up the flavor of your food. So you sprinkle this on your food to make your food taste better. But look at the ingredient. It has one ingredient, monosodium glutamate. That's MSG. But God has given us so many herbs and spices that we can flavor our foods with. We don't really need this to wake up the flavor in our food. The next one is artificial colors, which means chemicals as well. Potential side effects of artificial colors are allergies, sinus congestion, hyperactivity in children, and it worsens the symptoms of ADD and ADHD. So a lot of them, artificial colors have been known to cause growths in the body, allergic reactions, and also cancers. So we want to make sure that we not only read the ingredients of the food that we consume as adults, but also the ingredients of the foods that we give our children. It's amazing how a lot of people treat their pets and treat their plants better than they treat their children. You give your plants water, because if you give your plants soda or sugary juice, they're not going to grow. But yet we give those things to our kids and expect them to grow healthy and strong. You pay attention to the ingredients of the foods that you give your pets, but not the children. So we want to make sure that we read the ingredients of our food as well as our children's food. So here are some foods that are artificially colored. Cheese, except cheese that is made in Vermont. They cannot use artificial colors. Fish has artificial colors. They gas with carbon monoxide to make it red. Yes, and if you have a carbon monoxide detector, you know if that goes off, you have to get out of the house immediately. But yet they gas foods with carbon monoxide to change the color. Pickles have artificial colors. This is why it's very important to read the labels, because some jars of pickles will say naturally colored. And then some will tell you they're artificially colored, but we just don't read the ingredients. We have to read the ingredients. Oranges, as well as farm salmon. The next one, and I know it's going to break some hearts because these are the 0-calorie things, but artificial sweeteners. That is another member of the Scary Seven. You have aspartame, which is equal in NutraSweet. They affect the nervous system. Side effects are headaches, dizziness, memory loss, and convulsions. Sucralose, which is Splenda, decreases the good bacteria in your stomach. We need good bacteria in our stomach, and we'll talk about that in another class. Ace K, sweet and low saccharin. They've been shown to cause cancer in animals. So we want to make sure that we stay away from the artificial sweeteners and get the natural sweeteners that God has blessed us with. Things like coconut sugar or coconut nectar, things like raw honey, things like monk fruit. There are so many natural sweeteners that God has given us. Dates, date syrup. So let's stick to the natural sweeteners and away from the chemicals. The next one is preservatives. Now, remember last week I told you the longer the shelf life of a product, the shorter yours is going to be if you continue to eat it. And that's because those foods contain a lot of preservatives that give them a long shelf life. We want to make sure that we eat naturally, real food. Put real food into your body. TBHQ causes nausea and vomiting. Polysorbates cause infertility. BHT and BHA cause liver and kidney problems. Sodium benzoate causes allergic reactions. Sulfites cause allergic reactions, especially for people with asthma. And preservatives have been shown to cause daily fatigue. So people who are very, very tired day in and day out, for many people, you just have to switch your diet and take out those fake ingredients or bad ingredients, which will allow your energy to pick up. So what we're going to do is we're going to virtually go through a grocery store and look at a couple of items. We're going to read the ingredients and we're going to see how many members of the Scary Seven we see in those items. Now, remember, this is not to put this particular brand or brands on blast. This is just to educate you and encourage you to compare items, to read the ingredients, to visit your favorite fast food places website so that you can read the ingredients of the foods that you are purchasing and putting in your body and your children's body. So we go in the grocery store and we're looking for chocolate cereal. So you see the one on the left, Cocoa Puffs, which is a very popular brand. Remember, it has a mascot on it. One thing to pay attention to, whenever you see a cartoon character, that's a reflection of the ingredients in the product. If you see a picture of a real bird, that lets you know that the ingredients are more real than the animated one. So on the right, you have Cocoa Snaps, which doesn't grab your eye. It's a no-name brand. But what I want you to do is not pay attention to the buzzwords and the colors on the front of the package. I want you to read the ingredients and compare the ingredients to like items. Because comparing items may add 5 to 10 minutes to your grocery trip, but it can also add 5 to 10 years to your life. And you'll see why. So on the left, you have the ingredients of Cocoa Puffs. On the bottom right, you have the ingredients of the Cocoa Snaps. Now you want your ingredient list to be short, and also you want to be able to act like you can find the items in the ingredient list in the grocery store. You don't want to have to go to a science lab to find an ingredient. You want to be able to find it in the store as if you're going to make it yourself. Now, whatever's listed first on the ingredient list, that's what it contains the most of. And then it goes in order. So if you're buying fruit juice and the first ingredient is water, guess what? It is not fruit juice. It's mostly water. If the first ingredient is sugar, put it back because it has more sugar than anything. So we look at the ingredients of the Cocoa Puffs. You have whole grain corn, sugar, cornmeal, corn syrup, which is sugar. You have some canola and or rice bran oil. You have color added. You have salt, fructose, which is sugar, natural and artificial flavors, BHT, trisodium phosphate. The list goes on and on. Now, they're members of the Scary Seven in that list. So if you see Scary Seven members, go ahead and put it back. On the bottom right, you see that the Cocoa Snaps has rice, sugar, coconut oil, cocoa, salt, caramel color, natural flavor, and some reduced vitamins. So this one is actually healthier based on the ingredients than the Cocoa Puffs. And in some cases, the no-name brand cereals are going to be cheaper than some of the name brand cereals. So this is a way that you can actually eat healthier. May not be the healthiest because I know it's a processed food, but you can eat healthier and save money by eating healthier. It's because some people will tell you that it costs to eat healthy, but there are ways that you can eat healthier than you're eating now and still save money. So here's a list of a very popular pancake syrup. So look at the ingredient list of this. First ingredient is corn syrup, which is sugar. High fructose corn syrup, which is sugar. Water is the third ingredient, so now it's sugar water. Then you have cellulose gum. When you see the word gum, that's a thickener because nobody likes thin syrup, right? Caramel color because nobody likes syrup that isn't brown. And then you have some preservatives. It tells you it has preservatives. Artificial natural flavors. But God made something called maple syrup, which has one ingredient. So let's try to stick to the things that God has blessed us with and leave a lot of these science projects alone. Your body deserves it. Now, here is a bag of tilapia. Don't eat tilapia. I'll just say that. And we'll talk about that at a later date when we discuss the fish scriptures and the seafood scriptures. But look at the ingredient list on the right. First ingredient is tilapia. Second ingredient is carbon monoxide. Remember, we talked about that. It's gas to give it that pinkish reddish color, but we don't want carbon monoxide. Go ahead and put that back. This is why I don't care what the price is. If it's on sale, you have to pay attention to what you're putting in you and your family's body. So go ahead and put that back. So now we just had Thanksgiving, and this is a very popular stuffing. And you look at the ingredient list of this stuffing. First is wheat flour, a lot of synthetic vitamins. When they add vitamins in, majority of the time they're synthetic and your body's not going to absorb them. They'll come out when you go to the bathroom. High fructose corn syrup. Go ahead and put that back. Salt. And then it says contains less than 2% of partially hydrogenated soybean and or cottonseed oil. That's trans fats, the worst fat we can put into our body. So definitely just put that back. You don't even have to read anymore. So this is why it's very, very important. Now, this particular brand, it may even be a tradition in your family, but now it's time to try some new traditions so that we can break a lot of these generational curses of sickness, illness, and disease that run in our family so that we can get healthy and set up our children and our children's children for health down the line. Now, I know I'm going to get some kickback on this one, but this is public knowledge. This is the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich that many of you blessed saints swear is prayed over and anointed. But when you read the ingredient list, you'll see that it's actually engineered to taste the way that it tastes. And this, if you go to their website, this is on their website. Like I said, I'm not here to bash them or put them down. But I'm trying to educate you that the things that I'm showing you is public knowledge. You just have to look for it and go to their website and see. Consider carefully what is before you, like the scripture says, so that we can be healthy. So first ingredient is chicken. All right, that's a good start, right? Because if it's anything other than that, then it's not really chicken. But look at in the parentheses, you have boneless, skinless chicken breast fillet, the seasoning, salt, MSG, sugar, spices, paprika. Now we know MSG makes your taste buds jump. But also sugar is more addictive than heroin and cocaine. So it's a legal drug. So you have MSG and sugar. Dangerous combination to keep you coming back and to keep those lines long. Then you have the seasoning, the seasoned coater, which also has sugar and MSG in it. So it's MSG in the chicken, MSG in the seasoning, in the coating. And then you just keep reading. You have anti-foaming agents in the oil. The bun has sugar in it. You also have some other artificial colors, polysorbates, natural flavors. So just be mindful of what it is that you're putting in your body, not to mention how much sodium is in it. 1,350 milligrams of sodium. But this is why it's so important to consider carefully what is before you. So we're putting things like this in our bodies and our children's bodies. And sometimes we do it multiple times a day. You go get fast food for breakfast, fast food for lunch, fast food for dinner. And you just continue to put chemical on top of chemical on top of chemical. And remember, your body can burn calories, but it cannot burn chemicals. So it's very, very important that you do your research. So here's a popular barbecue sauce that a lot of people know about. You look at the ingredients. What's the first ingredient? High fructose corn syrup. Go ahead and put it back. This is why it's very important to compare. You may find something in the grocery store for the same price point, cheaper price point, that has cleaner ingredients and tastes better. So consider carefully what is before you. Then you get into your sodas and your beverages. Carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup. Go ahead and drink water. Water is the best drink that we can have. And if you need something sweet, you can do 100% fruit juice. But a lot of things like this, they have scary 7 ingredients. So we don't need to have those and fuel our bodies with it. Remember, if you continue to put low-grade fuel in a high-performance vehicle, it's not going to perform the way it was designed to perform. And we continue to put dangerous ingredients, artificial ingredients, scientifically engineered ingredients into this temple that God has loaned to us, it's going to break down. And we see that every single day with the amount of prescriptions that a lot of our loved ones are on. So it's time for us to be more proactive than reactive. You have the zero sugar, which lets you know that it doesn't have sugar, but they have to sweeten it with something else. And if it's 0 calories, that means that it's an artificial sweetener. So you see the caramel color, aspartame, Ace K. So it has 2 artificial sweeteners in it. Go ahead and put that back as well. Now pay attention to your condiments. It's not just the chicken sandwiches or the nuggets or the burgers that you're eating, but also you get it with a side of fries, you get your soda, and then you get your ketchups, your barbecue sauces, or things like this, your honey sauce. And you look at the ingredients of this. Now, many of us, myself included, years ago, we wouldn't even bat an eye at it. We'll see honey sauce and we just put it on our biscuits and things like that. But read the ingredients. Honey, corn syrup. Now, honey in itself is sweet enough, but this is honey, corn syrup, which is sugar, high fructose corn syrup, which is sugar, and then sugar again. Then natural flavors, then fructose, which is sugar. It's just sugar on top of sugar on top of sugar. And then you're putting that on top of a food that has sugar and dangerous ingredients. And then the sides have the same thing. And then the drink has the same thing. And we're just setting ourselves up for failure. But we have to honor God with our eating and our drinking. That's what the word says. So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all to the glory of God. And we're not glorifying God by eating a lot of these fake foods. You have some favorite snacks, and just look at the ingredients of this. High fructose corn syrup, sugar, partially hydrogenated oils, which are trans fats. You can probably find a no-name brand that has better ingredients. Now, does that mean it's healthy? No, but it's going to be healthier than the name brands that you're consuming right now. So continue to make those gradual steps along wellness road, so that those steps build upon each other. And so you continue to put one foot in front of the other down wellness road, and eventually, you can eat all of the healthy organic foods that are out there. But it's just all about making wise choices. Do something today that your body will thank you for tomorrow. Now, this is allergy medicine, and you're probably wondering, why am I putting the ingredients of allergy medicine up there? It's very important to read the ingredients of those as well. Because if you look at the inactive ingredients, you see aspartame, you see artificial colors. And remember, what are the side effects of artificial colors? Allergic reactions. So your kids take allergy medicine that has ingredients in it that cause allergic reactions. So it's very important to compare the ingredients of different medicines, over-the-counter medicines, when you're in the store. If the pill is white, I don't know why it would have artificial colors, but sometimes the store brand, or what people call the knockoff brand, will have cleaner ingredients than the name brand item. So make sure that you compare the items and compare the ingredients. Same thing goes for this one, which is Benadryl. You look at the inactive ingredients. It has different artificial colors in it, different preservatives in it, and the side effects of those cause allergic reactions. So make sure that you read the labels. Read the labels on the foods in the aisles. Of course, fruits and vegetables that meet you in the store don't have labels. But also for people who buy those frozen meals and frozen dinners and frozen lunches, make sure that you read the ingredients of those as well. Don't just look at how many points it is or how many calories it is. Read the ingredients to know what you're putting in your body. Always remember, consider carefully what is before you when you're about to eat. So I hope you guys found that helpful, found that educational, and please pay attention to what is being said. I hope that it encourages you the next time you're in the grocery store to compare similar items, to read the ingredients, and to even ask questions when you go to a restaurant. Ask them what's in the food. What do they season the food with? What type of oils do they prepare it with? Remember, you're paying with your money. And so if you pay with your hard-earned money, you deserve to know what it is that they're serving you. Always keep in mind, we have to make sure that we put the right type of fuel into our temples. Honor God with your eating and your drinking, and make sure that you know what it is you're fueling your body with. Almost 95% of the chronic illnesses that we suffer from are caused by poor food choices, which means that we can reverse a lot of the diseases that we're suffering from today, and we don't have to suffer from them. We just have to be equipped, be knowledgeable, and know what it is that we're putting in our body. So like the scripture says, consider carefully what is before you when you are about to eat. So I love you guys. I hope you found this helpful. If you find this video helpful, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you're alerted every time a new video is posted. So once again, this is Coach Tate for another episode of Let Us Pray here on the Holy and Healthy YouTube channel. I love you guys, and may God continue to bless you and keep his hedge of protection around you.